Hey there, comic book friends. I'm Travis, and this is What the Fugue. It's going to be my little video blog where I just kind of talk about things that are going on in comic books and whatnot that I'm interested in talking about. Basically, just kind of my opinion. We'll see if I do this as a weekly thing or not, whatever. This way I just get another chance to talk about what I see going on, what my opinion is on. Not that my opinion means a whole lot, but, you know, anything to have more conversation, I'm all up for that. So I'm hoping that doing these things I'll, get some comments and we can have some more conversation or some videos back and forth or whatever. Just generally have a conversation about things I've seen throughout the week. By the time it gets to the end of the week, I'll see about talking about things that either interest me or I have a strong opinion on, or I have no opinion on, or whatever. Anyway, you get the basic idea. First thing I want to talk about is Marvel Now. I don't know. I'm not a big Marvel fan and whatnot. Or not a fan. I don't collect a lot of Marvel stuff currently. Used to be the mainstay of my collection back in the 80s. I don't know why I moved away from it. Whatever. I moved away from it. Got out of collecting comics, back in collecting comics, and the Marvel titles just haven't been stuff that I picked up. I've started to try and pick up some things just out of curiosity. There's some stuff that Marvel does that discourages me from collecting comics. Some of that being like the double shipping. I'm not a fan of double shipping. My pocketbook can't take it, for one thing. I don't realistically think that the creators can keep up with a double ship book. The writer might be able to, because there are lots of writers who can write multiple books in a month. That's not a problem. But the artist certainly can't keep up with it. I don't think there's an artist out there right now who can maintain good quality and styled work and put out 40-plus pages a month. And so you end up with multiple artists on books, and I don't know that it holds its consistency when you do that sort of thing. Anyway, double shipping is one of the things. I'm not a real big fan of $3.99. Now, I say that, but of course I do buy comic books that are $3.99. So that's not a make or break, but lots of times it does help me make a decision on whether or not it's something I want to buy or not. But anyway, the Marvel Now thing. Of course, people are freaking out. To a lesser degree, maybe. Just like they did with the DC reboot, Marvel Now they're swearing up and down it's not a reboot, it's a relaunch. Well, you know what? That's what DC called theirs when they first started talking about it, was that it was a relaunch. Not that it was a reboot, but that it was a relaunch. They changed it to a reboot after a while and talked about it being a reboot, but it wasn't to begin with. Anyway, relaunch, reboot, I don't know, those words aren't that different from each other, really. My biggest curiosity is, we've heard about like 3 titles. What's going to happen to some of the other titles that are out there? Are they going to disappear? Are these 3 titles that we've heard about so far, are they 3 more titles on top of the titles they already have? Because the 3 titles we're talking about is they're going to redo Avengers. That sounds interesting in the fact that it's got, they're talking about like using 18 heroes, which is awesome, I think. Instead of it just being 4 or 5 people, 18 heroes. That's going to be really cool. Downside is it's $3.99. Downside is it's going to be double shipped. Upside is, my understanding is Hickman's going to be writing it, right? Some people are really liking his Fantastic Four, so that going into the Avengers might be a really good thing. I was kind of like, oh, okay, maybe I'll pick this up until I heard the double ship, and I'm not going to do that. I mean, my understanding is that from what I've heard is there are 5 different artists, rotating artists, that are going to be on this book. With all of a set schedule, so I mean at least it'll be consistent in that way. And I can see where they could tell some really interesting stories with the Avengers this way. You got like 5 core people, they're doing something specific, some sort of thing, and then you could do another book a month that's got more to do with character, more to do with some of the other odds and ends of the Avengers and whatnot. So that could be interesting. But my pocketbook says that I won't be exploring it. Or if I explore it, I'll explore it as a trade, certainly not as a monthly. And one of the other 3 books they're talking about is The Uncanny Avengers. Remainder is writing it. I'm not really familiar with his work off the top of my head. Of course, it's got 3 Avengers in it and 3 X-Men in it, and they're their own team. I'm not sure exactly what the premise is behind it, other than I do know that the Red Skull is back in some way, and he's the old form Nazi, hate anything but the pure race kind of a villain, and they're going to spend their time going up against him. The 3 Avengers that are in it is Captain America, Scarlet Witch, and Thor, and the X-Men are Wolverine, Rogue, and Havoc. If this book does not double ship, I'll probably pick it up. Most of those characters really interest me. I've always liked them in the past, so having them all in a book together could be really cool. I don't have anything against Captain America. He's not top of my list of people that I find interesting, but I certainly find Scarlet Witch interesting. I've always liked Wolverine. Rogue used to be one of my favorite X-Men for the longest time. Havoc's interesting enough. Thor, written well, can be a really cool character also. So that could be really interesting. That's a powerful group of people. That's a powerful group of individuals on a team. So it'll be really interesting to see what they do with a story like that. So I may pick that up. Then the other one is there's a new X-Men title coming out, and I cannot remember right off the top of my head what the actual title of it is, but it is written by Bendis. Bendis is off all the Avengers books. He's writing this X-Men book. And it is the original X-Men. They've come to the future, and they're not happy with what has happened, what has gone on. And so the premise is time travel to the future, but the whole time traveling part really has nothing to do with the story. Bendis says it has more to do with the characters and what they think of what's going on. That sounds all great and fine, but I don't understand how you can have a time traveling book or a book that had time traveling in it, and the time traveling doesn't matter. I guess wait and see. That book doesn't really interest me, though. I mean, that's their way of supposedly getting Jean Grey back. If she doesn't come back from the dead again, she's come from the past. Okay, whatever. That book doesn't interest me a whole lot. I like the original X-Men. I like them where they were. I like the progression that the X-Men made for the longest time. I'm not really up on the X-Men as a whole now, just bits and pieces. But I guess it's an interesting idea. It's an interesting idea to have your past self come to the future and see what it's like now and decide they don't like it or you screwed it up or whatever your commentary is on it. So it could be really interesting. It could be interesting if Bendis takes it and basically uses it as a commentary on the last, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 years of comic book history. But I'm really curious to see what happens to all the other titles. Are we going to relaunch a bunch more titles? A lot of stuff starting over again. Are they actually going to renumber everything? That'd be curious, wouldn't it? You know, start over with new number ones. Not that they're getting rid of all the history, but just that they're restarting. You know, because you've got comic books. You know, just like Detective Comics was for DC. You've got like Amazing Spider-Man that's on what 688, 689, something like that. To renumber that would be. I mean, isn't that some of the stuff that really pissed off some of the DC fans? Didn't mean a whole lot to me. I mean, I thought it was a shame when they numbered some of the DC comics, but it wasn't the end of the world. And if they're wanting to go for a maximum sale value, there is some, for just dollars cents here, just money we're talking, there is some dollar value to making them all go back to number ones, because a lot of people will pick them up just because they're number ones. So that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting. And it'll be interesting to hear all the fanboy rage that goes on around it. You know, I have to admit, I'm, like I said, more of the DC person. When the whole DC relaunch thing happened, I had to take a lot of deep breaths before I could get past the initial, oh my God, of it. You know, but it is what it is. And so that'll be all really curious to see what that all lands down on. Let's see, so much I want to talk about. DC Comics. Let's see. Detective Comics is getting a new creative team. I think most of us are going to be happy with that in some sense or another. I don't have anything against Tony Daniel. I think that I liked him better as a creator before the New 52 relaunched. I liked his old art style better than his new art style. And I like some of his story ideas, but I think they could probably be executed better. I hear he is going to go on to a couple issues of Justice League, fill-in art for Justice League. And then we don't know what he's going to be doing next after that, but I'm sure it's going to be something. At any rate, the new team that's going to be on is John Lyman, who writes Chew and Mars Attacks and stuff like that. And a fairly new artist, I believe, Jason Fabok, I think is how you say his name. I'm not familiar with his work. I think he's done some cover work like that Batman annual. I don't know that he does the interior artwork, but maybe the cover's his. I haven't gotten around to looking to see what else he does and whatnot. But the preview art that I've seen where it at least shows like a cover shot of the penguin and whatnot, that looks pretty good. So, yeah. I'm excited about this just because it's a change, and I don't think it's a bad change. It's going to be different. I'm curious to see how Lyman does this, because everything it seems to me that he writes is it's kind of it's got a joke, it's got a punchline to it. With Chew and Mars Attacks and whatnot, they've got everything's done with a heavy sense of humor around it. I think. So I'll be curious to see how he writes this, because I'm not sure you can get away with a whole lot of humor in Batman. I'm not say it has to be horror, more of a horror bend, which is what Snyder, I think, brings to the suspense and horror that Snyder brings to the Batman titles. So there can certainly be room for something different, but I don't know that it could be funny and work. So we'll see. He says the direction he wants to go in is more of the detective type stuff and the crime families and those sorts of things that are in Gotham. So we'll see how that goes. That could be interesting. Other news that I heard just today means something to me anyway. Catwoman. Judge Weddick is going to be moved off of Catwoman with issue 0, and then issue 0, Ann Nocenti is going to be writing the book. I don't know how I feel about that. If you've been watching my reviews, I've been commenting on the fact that Green Arrow has just become a real mess, and Nocenti's writing that, and I think that she's partially responsible for that mess. I think the reboot's also responsible for that mess. But so anyway, Judge Weddick's going to be off of Catwoman, and she's going to start writing it. Interestingly, Catwoman issue 0 was originally solicited with Jed Weddick writing it, but he's not. He's actually going to be writing issue 0 of Green Arrow. I've really liked Catwoman, despite everybody freaking out over the first issue with the, hot implicated sex at the end of the book. And some cheesecakey covers. The book has been actually really good. It's been really good. It's been really interesting. I think that it's got a lot more going on in it than what people give it credit for, because people aren't going to get past that first issue and into some of the nitty-grittiness of this new Selene and whatnot. She's not all sexy, sexy, sexy like they build the book in the beginning. I think that had as much to do with the fact is that the creators got tired of being bugged about it, so they pushed that because their buttons were getting pushed. They were pushing everybody's buttons back. I may not be in the majority. I like Gilliam March's artwork. I like it on the book. They haven't said who the artist is going to be on it. Maybe it'll still continue to be Gilliam. I hope so. And if he's not going to be on that, I hope they get him on something else. I really like his style. I like the colorist that works along with him. There's just a interesting flavor to his work, despite the cheesecake. I don't like his style for the, hot women. Even when he's doing guys and stuff like that, it's just an interesting tone. It's an interesting tone. It's different from what else is out there, and I think there needs to be more different in comic books as opposed to more mediocre where everybody's stuff looks the same. I think that's all I have to talk about really today, unless something else strikes my fancy before I actually get this loaded up on the computer. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this. You want to chat along with me or whatnot. I really like the other people who are doing their video vlogs that are just more talking about what's going on. I'm enjoying Ghost Critic when he's got internet connection. I hear he's without internet. I think he's on like day 3. I don't think I could last that long. So I hope when Ghost Critic makes it back. He's still sane and hasn't gone completely crazy. I also like Comic Book Moms. Hers is always fun to see bits and pieces of her family and what she's thinking about, what's going on and whatnot. And she has the vlog and her blog, and she also has Danger Room where she talks about stuff into it. I enjoy that, and that's kind of a mix of those kinds of things is what kind of inspired me to talk about this. There's some other people who I'm drawing a blank. Howler Mouse. Howler Mouse does lots of stuff that isn't just reviews, just talking about different things and whatnot. And it occurred to me that I just do my reviews and I don't do anything where I just kind of talk about comics. At some point, I'm going to get into the old back issues here and whatnot. I'm rebagging and boarding and doing a bunch of stuff like that right now, trying to get stuff a little better organized. And then I'll start showing off some of my collection. At any rate, yeah. Hope to talk to y'all soon. See ya.